Okay guys, so in this video, I'm going to do this extension right here. So you could have lots of different things going on, but your arms and your legs, those are also technically extensions. Remember, extensions and attachments are relatively the same things, just extensions might come further off your form. So that's why I would consider this, definitely an extension. So I'm gonna make it today, but then I'm gonna let it set up. I'm not gonna attach it because it'll just be too wet. But again, same with the rest of the stuff. I'm gonna do a tapered coil. This is gonna be way too thin. I can just compare it to my finger. I don't need to worry about hollowing this when I attach it to my form. Because it's just gonna be too thin, so it'll be fine, so I don't need to hollow it. So I made my tapered coil. I'm gonna kind of figure out where I want to put it. And I know that that's too thick. I want it to be thinner, so I'm gonna roll this out some more. This gets a little bit tricky because I want to put that eyeball here, so I don't want it to be so thin that it can't support it, but I don't want it to be so thick that I don't get the effect that I want. So I'm going to build this in two parts. So I'm going to build the antenna part, and then I'm going to build the eyeball, and I'll attach it separately. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to, maybe I'll wait until I get this mouth area attached too before I attach this. So I think that's kind of the area I want it to be in. If I want it to be that long. So I'm just thinning this out by pinching it and rotating. So I don't need it super skinny. I'm kind of going to do this like I did my claws. Okay, so that's probably good. I'll probably still trim part of this off because I don't want it to bend over that far. So I'll just kind of leave that there. Now, if this stays like that, and it doesn't fall over on you, then that tells you it's stiff enough and you could go ahead and attach it. But if it's drooping over, then that's gonna be too wet or too heavy or whatever. Let's see how big. I don't want this eyeball huge. I want it to be about the same size. I'm gonna make the eyeballs on the side. So I think that's probably good. So I'm just making a ball. Just like I did these claws, actually. Well, you can't see them, but remember when I made the claws yesterday? Well, they're there. So they're still drying. They're still too wet. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this piece because I want to make it look like it has an eyelid. So I need to attach this first. So just like I did those claws, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna make a little hole. Make it a little deeper. And I'm gonna go ahead and slip this together. Hope everything's going okay at home with you guys. It's really weird. I think that something to remember is as the whole world literally is going through the coronavirus, remember that you've got positive things happening, hopefully, in your life. And if you don't, it's a great time to kind of reflect on that and decide who you want to be and where you want to be. Every day is a new start, guys. Remember that. You're never, ever stuck with where you are or who you are. It's a mindset. And, if you've got something that you've always wanted to try, or you've got an interest, maybe you really love to write, this would be a great time to do that, especially because the internet's really the way people are interacting right now. So there's probably lots of Facebook groups and platforms. Just be careful. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people of, you know, good morals and good credit. Maybe do some research on them first before you jump full-fledged in. But it's a great time to take up a new hobby even. Maybe you like to sing. Maybe you always wanted to play the guitar. Maybe you are into cars. So there's great platforms for all of that stuff. The internet's an amazing, amazing place if you use it properly. And it also can be a really dangerous place. So be careful, you know. Just like when you meet people in person, it's the same thing. Do some research, figure out who they are, and if they, in your gut, if they seem a little shady, they probably are. So, I hope your families are healthy. And, you know, people are recovering from this. I think in the media, they're kind of talking about the death rate, which I know that there is. I'm not being naive. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective. But, you know, people your age and my age, we're recovering from this. So there is hope, guys. It's just like a really, really bad cold. It's kind of tough, from what I understand. But the success rate of people recovering is also high. They're just not talking about that for whatever reason. They're just staying on the negative, which is death, and it's terrible and it's sad, and I hope that none of you are affected by it. But the reality of it is people are getting healthy too. So just kind of try to remember that. Okay, so now I kind of have my eyeball made, and I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it yet. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna kind of work on this eyelid section. So I'm gonna take a little piece of clay. And this is a little bit dry because it's been sitting on my board here. And I'm gonna make a coil. Once you know how to pinch and make a coil, man, you can build anything, I'm telling you what. You guys hear that? Apparently my husband decided to do some leaf blowing. I bet he doesn't know I'm down here recording. That's okay. That means he's doing something. Cleaning the house, maybe. Cleaning the yard. Or the deck. The weather's getting nice, so we'll be able to sit out there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do with this coil is I flattened it, and then I'm gonna figure out where I wanna attach it for my eye. So I'm going around the edge like that, but I think this is still a little, it's too short, so I gotta keep going. Just like that. I don't want to cut it off yet because I want to make sure it's long enough. And if you're doing what I'm doing, then you can just take your paintbrush and you kind of smooth out that edge if it gets a little wet, or cracked, I'm sorry. You do kind of, since it's gonna be like an eyelid, you do want it to be like relatively even. So now I'm just kind of taking my finger and I'm just compressing this. Oops. That's the other reason I didn't want to cut it off yet. So I might have to make it a little longer. Okay. So because these two pieces are really, really wet with water, I'm not going to worry about slipping. I'm just going to put this on here. Where I want it. Hopefully that's in the right spot. Ah. And I just kind of roll it around that outside edge, so I have something like this happening. Hello, I see you. Okay, and now I'm gonna leave this because I want this separation from the actual eyeball to the eyelid. I still feel like that's a little bit thick, but I'll thin it out here in a little bit. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull, you could leave this if you like the way that that looks. It's not gonna go anywhere because that clay was so wet. But I want this to look like it's part of the actual eyeball eye extension coming off the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna smooth out this back side. And I'm just gonna use my modeling tool. And I'm gonna pull this way. Like so. And I always try to support, you know, any small areas or where it's curved or, you know, because those are your weak points until your clay stiffens up and it gets fired. Okay, so now I smooth that in. So now I'll go back in with my paintbrush and I'll just smooth that out and compress it just a little bit more. And then I have my eyeball made. Now I'll go in and I'll do a little bit more work to the actual eyeball, but it won't really look like an actual eyeball with the iris and the pupil and everything because I'll glaze that on. I won't carve it because I think it will look strange. So now I'm just gonna go back in and I'm gonna use my paintbrush to smooth this. And notice I have my finger where that, where I'm trying to keep it separate. So I don't want that to smooth in. I know some of you had like a bunch of these for your alien monster creature, and I think that would be really cool. But I'm just gonna make one. Ooh, slippery. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could go ahead and attach this, I suppose, right? But I'm gonna wait because I wanna work on this area. Plus, I'm afraid this is a little bit too fragile. See how easily it moves? So I'd rather that stiffens up for a day. I'll keep it under plastic and on my board, covered up. I'm just not gonna spray it. I'm gonna spray this, but not any new extensions or attachments that I've made because they need to stiffen, right? So, so that's how, if you're gonna do any kind of extension eyeball kind of looking thing, makes it look really, really alieny. It's not a word, but monsterish. So, I've made my arms, legs, an extension of my eyeball, and then I'm gonna let these set up, and then tomorrow I'm gonna attach them. So that will just be one video. It'll probably be rather long, but it will just be of me attaching these pieces, and then I'll go in and I'll start talking about how do you add your eyeballs, how can you add some detailed stuff. Maybe you have that additive process you need to do. Maybe you need to take some clay away. So those are the things that we'll talk about over the next couple days. So stay with me, guys, hang in there. Do the very best you can. If you're not getting these videos or they won't load for you, I don't know how you'll get this message, but again, just do what you can and we'll make adjustments when I see you again. Don't worry about it. Don't be stressed out. You've got other things that you've got going on. So your other classes and your health and your safety and all that good stuff. But don't forget to smile and go outside and get some fresh air. You can still go outside. You don't have to be confined to your bedroom or your kitchen. So make sure you're doing that as well. Take care of yourself and be kind to your siblings and be kind to your parents because they are stressed out as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow and hang in there.